Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this Monday's Wealth Creation Show. And today we are going to discuss the 5 keys to rise in 2024. Now, this is quite a good one. I'm going to be covering things that you really need to look after in terms of your mind, your body. Think about your mentors and the people around you. And also, we're going to cover paying it forward and giving back, which is really important as well. But definitely, as this time of year, I think a lot of people reflect, but they also look ahead. And as we look ahead to the next 11, 12 months ahead, obviously, there is one thing that's clear, and that is that we are living in kind of some uncharted territory at the moment. We are in a time when the economic, political, and social landscapes are really changing at a record pace. And sometimes it's quite hard to keep up. We are all being touched by events that happen around the globe. So no matter where you live or what you do for a living, what is happening is unlike anything else we've ever experienced. So it's easy to feel a bit apprehensive and fearful in today's climate. So really to concentrate on your own self and how to lift yourself and rise through your own future and your own success is very important. So amidst a world of uncertainty, there is a collective hope that resides, and I think that it's an evolutionary trait of human spirit to kind of endure and defy the odds and to rise up. So, and that's what we're going to talk about today as the 5 keys to rise. And much like that innate hope that really surrounds the beginning of a year, at the beginning of any year, and especially January and the new year, has really surrounded with, and it's synonymous with fresh starts and a blank slate and the opportunity to start again. So, but the truth is, life offers us the opportunity to take action and make changes in our lives nearly every day. Every day of the year, you could do this. It's not just a new year and beginning of each year that people obviously are renowned for setting New Year's resolutions and etc. But you could do that. I mean, any time's a good time to start, especially if it's working on your own self, like I say, your body, your mind, or even who you surround yourself with and how you're going to rise yourself up throughout the year ahead. And it's no surprise to anyone that around 95% of people's New Year's resolutions are abandoned by the second week in January. Um, and I mean, so a lot of people by now, obviously, that their resolutions that they've made, they've probably fell by the wayside. But you need to ask yourself, why is that? And it is because most people they set an intention, but they don't resolve. Um, so when we're resolved, that means that we do whatever it takes to meet our goals or achieve our goals. We'll wake up early, we'll stay up late, we'll push through obstacles and defy all the odds to make it happen. But you really need to have that drive. And however, with all the drive in the world, it will eventually give out because you could only push for so long. And that's quite important. But when you incorporate a strong enough reason why the strategy into meeting your goals, then that's when you'll start to show and see the results. And they'll show up if you have that drive, as well as having a reason why, I think is important. Now, while hope is essential, it isn't a strategy. And the truth is, no matter what's going on in the world or anything that's going on around you, there are timeless strategies that will sustain you um, through any season, and especially we have quite bad winters. It's quite dark. It's quite demotivating when we go through that time of year. So you really need to have these strategies in place and keep that determination and your own discipline is very important. Disciplining yourself to do things is not the easiest thing. I know that from personal experience, and it's something that you really need to work on. So don't feel like if you fall at the first hurdle, and do you know what, it's quite easy to become quite disheartened with trying to achieve goals because I mean, it's not all plain sailing, and you do sometimes fall by the wayside. But you really just need to pick yourself up and start again, or continue. So let's talk about what strategies I'm going to talk about today to get out of the fear and rise with new heights in 2024. Now, guys, as I cover these 5 keys to rise in this show, please feel free to jump in the comments, ask me any questions, or even just give me some of your own insights about your goals or what your New Year's resolutions or whatever they may be, or anything that you're going through just now. Please feel free to jump in. It's quite helpful when people put in comments and things for me to engage with while I'm speaking here, especially as it's just myself today. So yeah, let's look at the 5 keys that I'll be covering today. And the first one that I'm going to share with you today is feeding your mind. Now, stand guard by the door of your mind. Now, what does that mean? So it means being vigilant about what you consume. Now, this is social media, the news, and most of it is, and it's really designed to hook you, scare you, or enrage you. Either way, social media has really got a hold of a lot of people in that aspect, and it's quite easy to get sucked in to hypes and stuff on social media, and it's quite addictive. And I think anybody will stand testament to that having your phone in your hand with access to social media anytime, any place is quite it can quite become quite consuming. So yeah, but when you think about the media and stories and things like that as well, informing you is not their first priority. As I say, it is quite to hook you or possibly scare you, or scaremongering and ultimately enrage you in most cases. And there's no and that's no truer matter than what's going on in the world at the moment. Do you know, all over the world there's things going on just now, and the media coverage can sometimes be not the best, and headlines could be very misleading, and I'm sure you all agree to that. But it's especially important to feed your mind in new ways during the present climate and the way the world is. Bring something new to it, I would say. Otherwise, you will keep operating off the same old beliefs and the same old thoughts and the same old emotions, and that will not get you to the next level that you want to be at. So don't be afraid to change and implement change, and it can be quite scary to do things different and look at things from a different perspective and use new emotions and things. It's change for anyone, I think, sometimes can be difficult. It can sometimes be a bit scary, but then I think it's really important to embrace it, because you are not going to make progress without change, and that's something that you really need to be aware of. It took me a while to realise that you need to push yourself outside your comfort zone and change, or you're never going to progress. So yeah, so get yourself to that next level you want to be at. Growing up, I don't know, trying to think of role models if you think of your own role models when you're growing up. Do you know whether it's your parents, whether that's teachers at school, or whether you just read about people that were maybe possibly role models. Do you know there's like history biographies and things of great leaders and business people and philanthropists that I learned what made them successful and extracted the principles. You could take little bits from each people and try and apply that into your own life, and that's really it's a really handy way to excel yourself in certain areas. Now, whether that's professional, whether it's personal, it's just really important to feed your mind in the right way with the right information, and you'll ultimately be mastering your internal world. And there are 2 worlds to master, and that's the external world and your internal world. So you need to think about obviously what's going on outside and around you, and as well as inside as well. So you can't control the external world, as we're all aware, but you can influence it. So start by taking charge of your internal world. And I think what that means, if you're not quite sure what that means, and it's what we're covering today, and I'm going to talk about the next thing as well, think about your own mind and your own body and your actual own internal self, and how you operate and how you react and how your emotions are and how you deliver yourself into society. And think about that. And once you get a hold of that, then you could start to influence your surroundings, and then that then has an influence on the external world. But you need to start with you, always, in any case, I think, and that's very important to keep that in mind. So that's talking about your mind and your mindset, and obviously, I mean, I covered that briefly there, but I mean, we could go on and you could go really delve into that and mindset and really keeping your mind fed with the correct people and the correct information. But definitely feed your mind as right up there as number one. Then I would say is strengthen your body. Now, it might seem a bit like a cliche to talk about fitness and things at the start of a new year, but it's a mistake to think it's the mind and the body and they're not deeply connected, because they are. They feed one another. So if your physical condition isn't great, it's going to have an effect on your mind, and if your mind isn't great, it's going to have an effect on your physical. So they definitely do feed one another, and it's quite a symbiotic relationship to have both in good shape. So much of your psychology is determined by what you do with your physical body, and there is more and more research coming out to support this. We speak about your diet and alcohol and you know what, the different things that you could do and overdo with your body, and then it deteriorates your physical self, and your mental state will suffer as a byproduct of that. So yeah, and there is a lot more and more research coming out, as I say, to support this. So go on a go on a sprint or a run or a walk, lift your weights if you do weights and things. Take a really long walk out in nature. It's just that's I always feel like a long walk if you've got the dog or whatever. The key is just to keep pushing yourself every single day. I mean, a lot of people begin the morning with the morning swim, or they go to the gym, or as I say, it could just be a walk with a dog. But all these things, and if you discipline yourself to do that and do it religiously, then it becomes part of what you do in your routine, and it helps you excel forward. Now, people don't do these things because it's fun, or maybe even they don't do it because they want to do it. It's because maybe they're training their body so that they could say that they go when they go, and that's like all about disciplining yourself to go and do things at certain times of the day, or certain, and have that structure. And don't negotiate with your mind, and because you could have that obviously two sides, and where you could have your mind in one state and your body in another. So priming your physical body could set the stage for the change you want to drive you mentally and emotionally as well in the right direction. So yeah, definitely strengthen your body. Now, whether that is just light exercises, a walk, or as I say, if people train and swim and all the rest of it, then that's fine too. But as long as you're doing something, I think, to keep your body active, and again, diet comes into that as well. I think is a very big part of strengthening your body. So please, yeah, think about your diet, think about your physical, and then also your mental side of things as well. And I think these combined, really, if you could get them right and get them in good order, you are already on the right track, definitely. Over and above that, I think I talk about surrounding yourself with people, and the right people. And finding great role models, I think, is really important. As I say, whether it's in your professional life or whether it's in your personal life, do you know, whether it's family members, whether it's friends, whether it's colleagues, whether it's, do you know, somebody really successful in the field that you work in. If you want the best year of your life, you need to decide to find a great role model and somebody to follow and help you excel. And it has to be someone who's already getting the results that you want. So if it is in your professional life, and you find somebody in the same field as you and they are very successful at what they do, spend a lot of time with that person and learn what they do. And why? It's because success leaves clues. And if somebody's really successful in what they do, then, and you want to be successful doing that too, then you could learn a lot from that person, and you could actually save yourself a lot of time, probably a lot of money, probably a lot of heartache, and yes, so definitely take the lead from someone who is getting results and successful at what you are trying to achieve as well. you'll be surprised how much you could learn from just shadowing or having a role model to turn to when you are trying to be successful in anything, really. I think it's maybe find somebody you want to emulate. It'll act as a true north for you, and where you want to go in 2024, and indeed beyond that, and for your whole journey and career, or whatever you're set out to do, and even if it's just in your personal life. So even if, as I say, about trying to strengthen your body or strengthen your mind, find people who are good at that. Find somebody who's really good at planning mindset and doing habit stacking and getting and being able to discipline themselves to do things. They've obviously got a really good mindset on how to do that. Learn how they do that, because it's not the easiest thing. Or if you want to be really fit and healthy and discipline yourself to go out each day and like I say, whether it's swimming or running or walking, but you don't have the discipline to keep yourself doing it, then learn from somebody that's really successful at doing it. How do they do it? How do they stop their mind, stopping their body from going out and doing this each day? So yeah, it could be anything. So it is important to have really good role models and somebody that you want to emulate and help you be successful, as I say, in this year and beyond as well. So remember, guys, any questions, please just jump in. Proximity is power. This is what I'm going to cover as number 4. So you might say proximity is power. What do you mean by that? So the truth is, if you want to surround yourself with people who are out of your league, think about who you spend your time with. So if you want to raise your game this year, you must get in the proximity to someone who is playing the game at a lot higher level than what you are. And you might think, but then what am I going to learn for that? So it's like what we just said there about obviously emulating people. But just like if you're playing maybe a sport, maybe if you're, let's say tennis, for example, if you're always playing against someone that's worse than you, you're never going to get better than it. You're never going to get better yourself. Whereas if you always want to surround yourself with people playing at a higher level, then the impact of them will make you them better. And this on your life and the lives around you, it is really invaluable to learn from people at such a higher level, and whatever you're doing. And as I say, whether it's playing sports or whether it's in your work, it's massively influential in creating success in your life. Yeah, William, you're saying couldn't agree more regarding the benefits of medium to long walk with or without the dogs on inspirational coastlines like in Fife. Yes, definitely. Thanks for that, William, Lucinda. Thanks for watching. Yeah, the coastline in Fife itself is really quite therapeutic, I have to say. So is the countryside. So yeah, I do find that after a busy day or a busy week, a nice long walk definitely clears the mind and kind of resets you. So yeah, and Fife is a lovely place to do that. But you'll find that anywhere, wherever you are. But yeah, so surround yourself with the right people, and people that are going to lift you up, are going to help you excel, and be a real massive influence to you positively in your life is definitely something that you need to do. If you feel like you are surrounded in life with people that maybe are a bit negative or are kind of bringing you in the wrong direction or changing your mindset from what you really do think or want to believe, or want to what kind of direction you want to go in, then maybe not the right people to be surrounding yourself with. And they say that you are a mixture of the 5 most closest people that you associate with. So the more you associate with people that are not in alignment with your beliefs or what you're setting out to do, and like I say, your personal or your professional life, then you might need to rethink that. And that could even be some of your family. It could be your friends. I don't know. But yeah, it's good to have a circle of really influential people. And if they are operating at a higher level than you could learn quite a lot from them, and that is from experience as well. So definitely surround yourself with the right people, and their proximity to you will ultimately give you power. So that was number 4, guys. So number 5 is quite an important one for me, and I know it's really important for Jim and what he has set out to do and his journey and his whole ethos, and it's paying it forward and giving more than you expect to receive. So yeah, paying it forward and giving back to all the achievers out there watching or listening. This is the one that you don't want to miss, I think. So I think in 2024, you must always also find a way to add value to others. You spend a lot of time thinking about yourself and how you could better yourself and enhance yourself and push things forward. But I think a big part of that is adding value and giving back to others will ultimately help you progress within yourself. I truly believe that the secret to living is giving, and it's what makes us feel fully alive and live not just a successful life, but a fulfilled one as well. Fulfillment is very important. I mean, you could spend years and years working and doing things and just not have that feeling of fulfillment. And to give back to people and to help people, if you can, is a very fulfilling thing to do. And a lot of people spend a lot of years trying to search for fulfillment and don't find it. And this is the very important part of, I think, your own success is to give back. So you could find a way to give back no matter what your current situation is. So you might think, I'm not in a position to give back to people. Do you know what it's like? I've not got the facility to give to people. But all the world needs really is maybe your skill, your passion, even just your light. Do you know, even if you could bring in some light to someone's life, then more than ever that could be something that will uplift somebody. I mean, it doesn't always have to be in monetary terms here. I'm not saying obviously because you make lots of money and hand out lots of money. And, do you know, even just offering your skill or yourself or lifting someone else up on an emotional level can be a lot more helpful than what money could ever do. And it's just really giving to others when in turn, and then we in turn obviously give to ourselves, if that makes sense. So if you give it out, you will get it back. I mean, despite the current climate that we're in the world, you have you can have obviously the best year of your life if you set out to do it right. 2024 is anybody's for the grabbing. It's up for you to create it though, and I think that's the important thing. So what do you want your 2024 to look like? What do you want the next year to look like? Think about that. Think about, right, where would I like to be when the year comes around again and it's New Year time and resolutions time, or we're heading to Christmas time. Where do you want to be in a year's time, or where do you want to be in about 5 years time? I've set a lot of goals and plans for the years ahead, and professional and personal and things, and I'm getting there, but there's a lot of work to be done. And people may listen and think, oh, well, but then I thought you maybe already had these things in place, and do you know, but it's not always easy. There's always a lot of work to be done, and there's always a lot to learn and a lot to learn from others. So don't feel like I said earlier, when you get to a point where you maybe feel like you fall at the first hurdle, been there, done that, it happens. Just pick yourself up and keep going, and think about what you want to be, or where you want to be at the end of the year, and just keep aiming for that. How do you want the next 12 months of life to feel like? Do you want to be a year down the line and still feel the way you are just now, or do you want to be different, feel more successful, feel like you've given back, feel a wee bit more fulfillment? Then it's only you that could do it. And so think about what thoughts and actions might have to change in order for you to get there. As I said at the beginning, change is such a big part of your own success, and not being scared of change and then kind of embracing it. There's a really good book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I'm trying to remember who wrote that book, and I've read that actually twice. And that was one that we done as part of, like, we done a book club thing within work, and that was one of the first books we read, and I had lots of notes on that one. And Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And a lot of people probably do push themselves into uncomfortable situations and things, and then they'll feel better for it after. So you might even be doing it and not even realise. And think, God, that is what I do. Keep doing that, because that is what ultimately will push you forward. You've got it all at your fingertips, in my opinion. I think you just need to apply yourself correctly. And I think really, if you look at the 5 keys that we've covered today, so as I say, that's your mind, your body, and create role models, surrounding yourself with the right people, and ultimately paying it forward to other people. And that is not just, like I said, in monetary terms, it is also on an emotional level as well. It costs nothing to help people or lift people up on an emotional level. If you can do that, that is quite a great thing to do. Susan Jeffers, you're right, William, it is, yeah. Susan Jeffers is who wrote Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So yeah, that's a great book. I've actually not on my other bookshelf, so I was going to grab it for there. But yeah, brilliant book. And like I say, I took loads of notes on that, and I think all my post-it notes are still stuck in it. And it was such a good book, and it does help me. A good few years ago, when I was in that position where it's quite hard to push yourself outside comfort zones, but when you actually realise what good it's going to do for you, pushing yourself out with these comfort zones, then it's quite fulfilling for yourself to know that when you're in that uncomfortable feeling and you're pushing yourself, that ultimately it's going to progress yourself within your own role. Mine's was a mixture of professional and personal, but definitely recommend a book. What I'm going to do, guys, is following. Obviously, the show's a little bit shorter today because it is just myself. I know if Jim's here, he could talk and talk for probably over an hour, but I think we're just going to keep it to about 30 minutes today. So, but thank you, William and Lucinda, for commenting and just at least I know somebody's watching and listening. But yeah, I'm going to put the blog for what I've discussed today with the 5 keys to rise, and I'll put that in the in the blog on our website, so that it can be attached to the show and things as well. So you could go in there and actually read it and look at what we've discussed today. But yeah, for me, it's mind, it's body, it's your mentor or mentors, and the people that you surround yourself with, and the paying it forward and giving back. If anybody has any questions on what I've covered today, or even if they want to ask me about my own journey, I mean, obviously, I'm in comparison to, I would say, obviously, my mentors, which probably Jim is obviously in there. I mean, Jim's so far on his journey. When you look at where I am, I'm just at the beginning, really. Do you know, I've got a lot ground to cover before I come anywhere close to some of my mentors, or some people that I look up to. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's something, you know, disciplining yourself and keeping yourself on track to do things, whether it's from a health benefit or whether it's from a mindset benefit. It takes time, and I think as long as you just persevere and don't let yourself get put off, you will start to see the fruits of your labour kind of start to happen over time. Nothing happens overnight. I think it's very important. When I think back where I was 5 years ago, and then I think where I was 5 years before that, and then, do you know, if I go back, I could see progressive change for a positive, obviously, throughout. And I could only think in a positive way that my actions as a change now, and, do you know, in the next 5, the next 10 years, I'll look back and think, God, I've progressed so much from where I was then. And yeah, so have a vision, have goals, set out, whether it's a year ahead, whether it's 5 years ahead, definitely have those goals and have the right people around you to help you do that, and get yourself in the right mindset and the right physical shape in order to do it. And you will see the benefits of all of those factors combined, really lifting you up and rising you up through the next year ahead, and indeed beyond that. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed my 5 key points today, guys. I try and live by them. It's not always easy. So don't feel that you're alone if you think sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, because everybody has their own way of dealing with things, and that's fine. So if you need any assistance from maybe a mentor or somebody that's a lot more successful than you, then don't feel that you can't reach out to people. I'm sure if somebody's in a position where they are quite successful in their own right. They've probably gone through all of that themselves, and they will be more than happy to provide you with a bit of guidance. So yeah. So I'm going to leave it there today, guys. That was my 5 keys to rise in 2024. I hope you've enjoyed that. As I say, thank you for the ones that jumped in the comments, William, Lucinda. And you can catch this on the reruns. It'll be running on our YouTube channel. I'll attach the blog to this as well, so that you could read through the 5 points in the blog. And we'll also be running this as podcast as well. So hopefully if you're listening to this on the podcast, I hope you enjoy. And until next time, guys, I will catch you. Jim and I will both be back next Monday at 12:30. So I'll see you then. And until next time, see you later. Bye.